Hello and welcome to Stroke by Stroke. I've been asked by a viewer to maybe do a series, or at least an image, about emotions. And the one that I'm dealing with the most right now is depression. And I have kind of an idea of what I want to do, but I am going to just go with it, and whether it ends up being about my depression or not, that's a good question. But I am going to create sort of like my own colors of liquid watercolor here. And so I just put some Artfinity liquid watercolor indigo, and now I'm going to add some magenta to one of those wells. So if you know color theory, that should make a purple. And then over here, I'm going to add primary yellow, and this should make a green. And I added more indigo to the purple than the magenta, and I did the opposite. I did more yellow than indigo for the green. So I'm also going to put out a little dollop of Paynes gray here. This is my QoR watercolors, which I really do adore. So, okay. Now let's paint. So, what am I going to use? I'm going to try my, this is a filbert. Okay, and I have some plain water here. And now I'm going to check the green. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful dark green. Now I'm going to check the purple. Oh yeah, that's going to be a nice purple. That's a kind of a royal dark purple. And of course, we have the Paynes gray here. And I have my White Nights granulating watercolors here too. I don't know if I'm going to use them, but I have them in case. All right, so I'm going to start here, and that's sort of the center. I also have my white acrylic ink that is probably going to get brought into this process. Now I've got the green. And here's the purple. And that's why I got the colors I got of the liquid, because I can make pretty much any color I want at this point. And if you don't know much about the color wheel and stuff, there's plenty of videos, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Check out some. And one of the mistakes that I make a lot is I use too many colors. And so this is a much more limited palette. And that was just the white ink. And now I'm going to use a smaller brush, not my liner, but this is a size 3 round. And I'm going to pick up some of this Paynes gray and just go in between the white. And this is on my mineral paper, by the way. And I chose the colors that I chose because for me, green and black represent my depression. This is probably going to end up being more beautiful than my depression feels. But we'll see. I don't know. I really don't. And now I'm going to do one final circle here of the white. Okay. And now I'm going to do something to make the colors spread. And I'm trying to decide how I'm going to do that. I've got my spray bottle and I have big brushes. This brush holds a lot of water. And my water has now turned basically black, but that seems to actually fit in my opinion. And if you've watched my videos, you know I love to work like super wet. So this won't be any different. And I have kind of tried to level out the glass that I have this paper on. Okay, and now I'm going to use my hair dryer to move the pigment. Okay. And now I'm just going to come in here with the colors. Drop them in. And I'm not surprised it turned mud. I was hoping it would actually, because my depression is very muddy. Makes everything muddy. Makes it difficult for me to focus on anything, to enjoy anything. It basically just like saps the life out of my world. And making these videos is my bright spot. So, thank you. And from a color theory perspective, the reason that this is making mud with just the two colors is because all three colors, all three of the primary colors are in there. And when you mix opposite colors like yellow and purple and indigo and orange or yellow, yeah, it's gonna kind of make a mess. And that's exactly how I feel with the depression. I'm a mess. There's some beauty in there, but it's really around the edges. And I'm just gonna sop up a little bit of this liquid. And the Paynes gray also added to the mud, which is exactly what I wanted to happen. I have to use the high setting very, very sparingly, because it will make my lights turn off. So I'm coming back into the Paynes gray. Yeah, I'm gonna do that a few times here. Okay, I'm gonna come back in here and add some of that green. All right. Now I'm going to come in with quite a bit of the Paynes gray now. That looks like an eye to me, and I was actually going to do an eye on here at some point. So I guess this is my time. That's kind of funny. I didn't do that intentionally. Not yet. One of the reasons I chose green, besides the fact that it's like what I associate as the color of sickness, it's also the color of my eyes. So, and the fact that I was intentionally going to use my eyes in this, there are no accidents, man. I don't like those hard spots. It's one of the things I love mineral paper for. It is so forgiving. If you do it and you don't like it, all you have to do is wipe it off. Now it will stain, but you're not locked into any specific way. Okay, I was just checking to make sure that I haven't moved it out of the frame or something. Excuse me, or something. I'm just using a paper towel, and I'm making like a point in it with a little bit of water. I just love the texture that happens when I do that. The spritzing of the water. That is just gorgeous to me. All right, now I'm going to use one of my blending stumps and see if this will work. I've never used a blending stump quite like this. Yes, beautiful. I'm using it to basically lift off. I'm just manipulating the tip here a little bit of the stump. Picking up a little bit of this green. Maybe more of the green. This is kind of halfway between painting and drawing. But you guys know me by now, I would imagine, because I am not a huge follower of art rules. I pretty much, if I get the idea and want to try it, I'm going to try it. And maybe it's going to look like crap. Maybe it's not. I'm going to put just a little bit of white on my palette too, so I can play with that a little bit. Just one drop there. And I know this is going to come in very heavy, so I'm going to use some water here and dilute it down. And remember, I'm using water that is very dark. And if I didn't want for this to have a muddiness to it, I would change the water. I don't know if you could see there, but there was a huge drip that was getting ready to fall. And I didn't really want a big drip right there. I've been thinking about how I wanted to do, what I wanted to think about and do for representing my depression. And I thought about doing something more like a self-portrait that would be more realistic, but that's not really who I am as an artist. So I'm being true to who I am while exploring something that's actually, to me, a very triggering kind of image. That's okay. I just came in with some green. And I am just getting rid of the water in my brush. And then I'm coming in here. And I'm going to use a much smaller brush. I'm going to go with this. It doesn't have a size, but it is a very small little brush, because I want to have more control right here. And my glasses, I have trifocals, but it doesn't want me to see this particular distance. I'm coming back here to my Paynes gray. And I think it would be, well, let me see here. I'm trying to see how wet certain parts are, because I'm wanting to use my hair dryer, but I don't want to undo the center area there. I thought that was really soupy. Okay, so okay. And now I'm back here with this little tiny brush. I'm gonna clean it out a little bit. I'm gonna come back in with a little bit of the green. Okay. Now I'm gonna come back in with a little bit of that white. I'm lifting off a little bit here of the Paynes gray. Just a little bit of water. And let me know if you guys like when I do like the zoom in inset camera. It's the same video, because I only have one phone to use for this, and but I come in and just do a picture in a picture and zoom into the area of interest. So if you like that, let me know, because it is a lot of work on my part, but you know, I think this is probably going to be an image that I'm going to want to do that with. Because I think being zoomed out to see the whole picture is great, but a little bit difficult to see the details. And since I am doing something that, you know, is arguably somewhat representational, at least in part of this, you probably would like to see the detail, I'm assuming. I've decided I like that as the tear duct side, and so I'm just coming back in here to kind of, yeah, there we go. I'm going to come in here with a larger brush. This is my size 11, because I really am happy with this part now. This part, I want to add more of the whirlwind kind of feel. So I'm doing a muddy color. I don't know if you can see or not. Of course, there's a dog hair. Yeah, I'm doing the muddier color here, putting the two together. Come over here to the purple a little bit more. And a little bit of the Paynes gray, which you can see there. See the difference between the muddy two colors and then the Paynes gray, and look how blue it looks. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's one of the things I really love about Paynes gray is it's really a blue. And I've been told I have the eyes of a mantis shrimp, meaning I see more colors than most people, and I think that's probably true. Because, yeah, I do see a lot of colors. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more of the white ink in my mixture here. Just one drop. Mix it around here. And then come in here. I don't want it to be too much of a contrast, but I do want contrast. And the story of why this is a good representation of my depression is I feel like I am trying to look out at the world through this chaos around me. And I'm stuck. I can't get out. And this was I had to think a lot before I did this, because it's like, do I really want to do this? But actually, I think it's healthy to do it, because now I can see it. And when I can see something, then I can begin to understand it. And that's my point here. I'm trying to understand. Why do I feel depressed? You know? And the true answer, the real answer is I really don't know. It's just like, you know, why do I have a beard? I mean, they've done the tests and stuff, but they cannot figure out. That's why it's called idiopathic hirsutism. I mean, yeah, nobody really knows. So, but I'm seeing a new shrink Monday. Today is Thursday, you know, so hopefully that will have some insight. You know, it's just the assessment, so probably not right away. But, you know, looking into why do I feel this way? Because the thing is, I'm happy, but I'm depressed, and I don't quite understand how this can be. And just because I was a therapist does not mean that I can understand all this kind of stuff, because I just don't. And I could help other people, but I can't help myself. I mean, I can't help anybody anymore, because that's not ethical. At least as a therapist, I can't help anyone. But I am happy to share what I do know. You know, with you folks and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm very clear that I am no longer a therapist. And that makes me sad, but it's true. And I think I just went through so many traumas starting in 2022 when I got COVID. And it was like boom, 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 boom. And the worst one, honestly, was ending up homeless after the domestic violence episode. Because, yeah. All right. I'm going to use the hairdryer one more time. And then I think this piece might actually be done. Of course, I say that and then keep going, but we'll see. And I keep getting the arm of my chair caught on the cord. Okay, and of course in pure stroke by stroke style, yeah, I want to do stuff around the edges here. So yeah, I'm not done. Of course I'm not done. I'm never done. Okay, so I'm going to do a lot of this green here. Yeah. Purple. To make that disgusting mud. And, you know, purple is actually my favorite color. So, I'm gonna actually do more purple here because the story, this is the stuff outside of the storm of depression that is wonderful and beautiful, but I can't get to it because of all this crap. I actually like that story. And it feels so true and real to me too, that, you know, all the beautiful stuff is right there. I just can't get to it. And I'm going to add some of the Paynes gray. Trying to make sure that I save that part because it's done. Because even when life is good, there is, you know, the darkness is still there. But it's in pieces, not completely obliterating me. You know, kind of like this is actually, believe it or not, kind of hopeful because it shows that I can see through it, at least. I mean, it would be a lot more depressing if I really couldn't see through that. Okay. Of course, now I'm muddying out the nice part, but to me that fits so much better. And it's giving me like Halloween vibes with the colors, which Halloween is actually like my favorite season, holiday, whatever. And I'm actually going to add just a touch of purple here, which may or may not show, but I think it's important to be there. All right, and one last little hit of white here. Just to help it pop. And I just used my fingers to clean off my brush a little because I don't want this to be too much. It needs to be there, but not ridiculous. So. Okay. So I am happy with this. So this has been Stroke by Stroke. Do what makes you happy. I hope that you found this process to be interesting, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I will catch you in the next video.